Chapter 6. Steps of Courage. The strongest wings are not the ones that never need the wind. They are the ones that discover they can still fly through the storm. The rain arrived before dawn, soft enough to be mistaken for a whisper. Tiny droplets slid down the hotel window, blurring Seoul into a painting of silver lights and gentle shadows. Somewhere below, buses rumbled awake, cafes unlocked their doors, and the city slowly stretched toward another day. Phoebe stood barefoot beside the window, a warm mug of coffee cradled between her hands. Steam curled around her face before disappearing into the cool morning air. 3 days. She had been in Korea for only 3 days. It felt impossible. Back in Australia, she had counted the weeks with excitement tangled tightly around fear. She had imagined every possible thing that could go wrong. Getting lost, missing the train, falling, needing help, being alone. She had imagined everything. Except this, the quiet confidence that had begun growing inside her. It wasn't loud. It didn't arrive all at once. It was like the sunrise outside her window, slow, gentle, almost invisible, until suddenly the darkness wasn't there anymore. She smiled faintly. Maybe courage wasn't the absence of fear. Maybe courage was waking up afraid and choosing to live anyway. Bukchon Hanok Village greeted her with the scent of pine wood, fresh coffee, and flowers blooming beneath old tiled roofs. The village felt untouched by time. Every narrow alley invited curiosity. Every wooden gate seemed to protect another forgotten story. Phoebe lifted her camera. Click. A grandmother sweeping her front step. Click. A little girl chasing soap bubbles that floated through the morning light. Click. An elderly couple sharing one umbrella, although the rain had already stopped. She lowered the camera and smiled. These weren't photographs. They were pieces of someone's life. Then she saw the staircase. It climbed steeply between rows of traditional houses until it disappeared into the clouds. Her smile slowly disappeared. For everyone else, it was only a staircase. For Phoebe, it looked like every doubt she had ever carried. People walked past her effortlessly. Some laughed. Some talked without even noticing the climb. She remained where she was. Her fingers tightened around the handles of her crutches. Her mind whispered words she had heard countless times throughout her life. Maybe this place isn't meant for someone like you. The words hurt, not because someone else had spoken them, because this time they had come from her own heart. A tear threatened to rise. She closed her eyes. Then another voice appeared. Her father's. Calm. Steady. Phoebe. Never decide what you can't do before you've even tried. She opened her eyes. The staircase hadn't changed, but she had. I didn't come all this way to watch life from the bottom. She placed one crutch onto the first step. Tap, then another. Step. The climb had begun. Halfway up, every muscle in her arms burned. Her shoulders trembled. Rainwater still clung to the stones, making each movement careful and deliberate. She paused, breathing hard. Her chest rose and fell as she stared down at how far she had already climbed. A young Korean couple approached from behind. The woman slowed beside her. Their eyes met. No pity, no awkwardness, only kindness. You're doing really well, Phoebe blinked. Such ordinary words. Yet somehow, they reached places inside her heart she hadn't realized were still hurting. Thank you. The couple continued walking. Phoebe watched them disappear around the corner. Then she laughed softly to herself. Funny. Sometimes strangers believed in us before we remembered how to believe in ourselves. She took another step, then another, then another. Each one hurt. Each one healed something invisible. When she finally reached the top, the wind greeted her first. It carried the scent of pine trees and distant mountains. The rooftops of Bukchon stretched beneath her like gentle waves frozen in time. For a long moment, she simply stood there. No camera, no photographs. Some memories deserved to be kept only by the heart. A breeze lifted strands of her hair. Without warning, a face drifted into her thoughts. The young man from the plane. She frowned slightly. She couldn't remember the exact sound of his voice anymore, but she remembered how safe she had felt sitting beside him, how naturally he had spoken to her, how for a few hours she had forgotten people usually noticed her crutches before they noticed her smile. She laughed quietly. What a strange thing to remember. She shook her head. You'll never see him again. Yet, she didn't know why saying those words made her heart feel unexpectedly lonely at almost that exact moment. Across the city, Jin Won signed another document. His assistant continued explaining renovation plans. His father discussed investment figures. The words blended together into meaningless sounds. Without realizing it, Jin Won opened the top drawer of his desk. Inside lay something folded neatly beneath a leather notebook. A boarding pass. He stared at it, then smiled to himself. Ridiculous. He wasn't looking at the boarding pass. He was remembering the woman who had held it, the Australian traveler who apologized too much, who laughed even when she was embarrassed, who quietly refused to let her disability define her. He closed the drawer again. His father looked at him. You're distracted. I'm listening. No. His father's voice was firm. You're remembering something. Jin Won lowered his eyes politely. I'm sorry. His father sighed. The Kim family will have dinner with us this Saturday. Jin Won already understood. Another introduction, another carefully arranged future. He answered automatically. Yes, father. But his heart whispered something else. Why can I remember a stranger's smile more clearly than the faces of people I've known for years? That evening, the Han River shimmered beneath a sky painted with gold and violet. Phoebe sat quietly on a bench, holding a cup of coffee between both hands. Children laughed nearby, cyclists passed, music floated gently across the water. She breathed deeply. For the first time in years, she wasn't wondering whether she belonged somewhere. She simply belonged. Her phone vibrated. Mom, did you have a good day? Phoebe smiled. Instead of answering, she sent photographs. The staircase, the rooftops, the sunset. A few moments later, Mom, you're smiling differently. Phoebe frowned. Phoebe, different how? The reply appeared almost immediately. Mom, before you left home, your smile always looked like you were apologizing for taking up space. Now, it looks like you've finally realized you deserve to be in the picture too. Phoebe stopped breathing. Tears rolled silently down her cheeks. She looked at the river until the words settled inside her heart. For so many years, she had been trying not to inconvenience anyone, trying not to slow anyone down, trying not to ask for too much, perhaps. She had forgotten that she deserved happiness too. That night, 2 lights remained on beneath the Seoul sky. In one hotel room, Phoebe opened her new journal. She wrote, Today I climbed a staircase that frightened me. Halfway up, I wanted to turn around. Then I realized, life isn't asking me to be fearless. It's asking me to keep climbing. She hesitated before adding one final sentence. I also remembered someone I met on the plane. I don't know why. Maybe because he was the first stranger who looked into my eyes before he looked at my crutches. If I never see him again, I hope life is kind to him. She closed the journal. Across Seoul, Jin Won stood alone on the balcony outside his office. The city glittered beneath him. He looked toward the stars. A thought escaped before he could stop it. I hope you found what you came here looking for. He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she was staying. He didn't even know if she was still in Seoul. Yet somehow, he hoped she was smiling. The same moon watched over them both. The same summer breeze touched their faces. The same city carried their footsteps. Neither knew they had walked within minutes of each other that day. Neither knew fate had already begun closing the distance between them. Somewhere ahead, beside the quiet waters of Seokchon Lake, Two hearts that believed they had already shared their only chapter were about to discover that their story had only just begun.